We always hear that thing like, oh, if only we could just find like the perfect person, like the most moral person to be in charge, all our problems would be solved.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't know. Makes you wonder if it's
Yeah.
really that simple. So we're diving deep on this article today. It's called The Pitfalls of Philosopher King: Why Morality Alone Isn't Enough for Effective Leadership,
Oh, interesting.
from the Continuous Improvement blog. And it really has me thinking.
It's so true, though. It's like this really common idea, isn't it?
Yeah.
That if you just get the right person at the top, everything will be fine.
Exactly.
That
And this article is kind of like, whoa, hold on a sec. It points out right off the bat that even with the best intentions in the world, good people, they can still make bad decisions
Oh, absolutely.
all the time. And they use this, they give this example about a CEO who's really passionate about sustainability, right? They really wanted to do the right thing. They made these investments that seemed, they seemed like they were in line with their values, but they ended up being really risky and actually like tanking the company.
Oh, wow.
And the article uses this example to show how if you don't have, strong processes,
Yes.
like risk assessment, stuff like that, governance structures,
Yeah, exactly.
even if you have someone who's trying to do good,
Yeah.
they can make these choices that have like huge negative consequences.
Yeah, you need that framework, don't you?
It's true.
To guide those decisions, no matter how well-intentioned you are.
Exactly.
It's like, having a budget for your personal finances.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you're great with money, if you have a budget there, it just provides that structure.
That safety net.
That safety net, yeah, exactly. And it stops you from, going overboard even when you see that really awesome gadget.
Or like the shoes or whatever, yeah.
Exactly.
So it's not about, being controlling or trying to like limit people who are trying to do the right thing, but more about, having those safeguards in place for everyone.
Totally. But it's interesting. The article kind of takes it a step further, right?
It does.
And it talks about this idea that power itself can be, well, a little bit corrupting.
Whoa.
Right. Like it can subtly shift our perspective.
Okay.
Even in really small ways. I mean, they mentioned the study
Yeah.
where people were randomly given these leadership roles in a game.
Uh-huh.
And you know what? They started acting a little bit more selfishly than the people who weren't in charge.
Oh, wow. It is kind of a human nature thing, right? Like
Well, that's what they're suggesting, right?
yeah, it is a little unsettling when you think about it.
It is. It makes you think about all those, stories about power and how it corrupts.
Like the whole Darth Vader thing, right?
Exactly.
Starts out as this good guy,
Well-intentioned.
gets a little bit of power, and suddenly
goes to the dark side.
it's all downhill from there.
But it's not just, Star Wars. I mean, this idea, it's been around forever. Like, think about that Lord Acton quote, that famous one. Power tends to corrupt, and absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Yeah. And I think that's why this whole idea, this philosopher king idea of like,
One perfect leader.
yeah.
It's just not realistic.
And maybe even a little bit dangerous to think that way.
Potentially, yeah.
So, okay, this is all well and good.
Yeah.
But like, isn't there also a flip side to this?
Meaning?
If you have too many checks and balances,
Mm-hmm.
Too many processes.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Does that slow things down?
Right.
Stifle creativity, make things too bureaucratic?
Oh, absolutely. That's a great point.
It's all about that balance, isn't it?
Okay.
Finding that sweet spot.
Yeah.
Think about how, modern organizations are set up.
Okay.
You have things like cross-functional teams, right?
Yeah.
You have review boards, ethics committees.
Yeah. All these things designed to, provide oversight.
Yeah.
To prevent any one person from, amassing too much power or having too much influence.
Right. So it's not just about like one person making all the right calls.
Exactly.
It's about having the right system in place to support those calls.
Totally. It's about like creating this environment where people can speak up, where they feel safe to challenge things if they need to, where you're valuing different perspectives,
Right.
And where there are like mechanisms in place to catch those mistakes
Before they become huge problems.
before they spiral out of control.
Exactly. And on a personal level, this all makes me think, like, are there times when I've let a little bit of power
Oh, interesting.
go to my head, even in small ways, as a reminder to be more aware.
To be more mindful.
Yeah, to check yourself.
Absolutely. And I think that's such a powerful takeaway from all of this.
It is.
Because this isn't just about, presidents or CEOs or, whatever, these big organizations. It's about all of us, right? It's about understanding how power dynamics play out in any group, even, our families.
Our friend groups.
Yeah, our friendships.
So as we're wrapping up here, I'm curious.
Yeah.
What about you, like in your own life? What are some ways that you've seen, power dynamics at play?
Oh, wow. That's a big question.
And what steps can we take, even in our small circles, our communities, to kind of promote more, responsible and ethical leadership? It's a lot to think about.
It really is. And I think that's something for all of us to consider, right? Like, how do we each play a part in creating those more ethical systems and structures wherever we are?
That's a great point to end on. So much to think about.
Definitely food for thought.
Thanks for diving deep with me today.
Thanks for having me.